and no vacancy. Last time, see you on FaceTime, chatting up the place, bout you know my relationship. Me, I go put you on lockdown. I put your body on lockdown. You got me on lock now. You got my person on lock. Oh, if you love me, you should let me. You should let me.
Welcome, good night. Welcome everybody to the bench meeting. Jerusalem is probably one of my favorite recent songs, so that's probably why we left it playing a little bit longer while we were sorting out some technical difficulties. And I've got Jaden here with me again tonight.
Yes. You know, I'm just the usual now, so no introduction really, but I'm glad to be here once again. So.
Alrighty. So late start. Sorry about that. We had a little technical glitch. Our guest was not able to come through, but we still have a pretty exciting program in place. All things considered. In fact, it might very well turn out to be a little bit more passionate than we are used to in the on the bench meeting. Mm-hmm. So again, welcome to everybody for participating with us on the bench again tonight. We've had quite an exciting week of sports over the last week. Before I proceed, though, I just want to let persons, especially in St Kitts and Nevis, know this is probably the last time I hear you before we open the borders on the 31st. So I'm encouraging persons, sports or otherwise, obey the protocols. We realize that a lot of our events are being threatened because individuals are not following the protocols. The protocols are very simple. Ensure you get your temperature checks. Ensure you wear your mask at all times where possible. Ensure you sanitize your hands upon the entrance and exit, so, as much as you humanly possibly can. Given the fact that we are now going to be inviting persons now from other countries to our borders, not in any way to suggest that it's going to be absolutely detrimental, but just want everyone to be a bit on the alert, and we all keep our focus as we go ahead. So, on to the breaking news and updates. Major League Baseball is not something that we normally talk about, but they are apparently going through their World Series right now, and the LA Dodgers, whom I'm someone who does not actively follow Major League Baseball, I can't say that I could have seen this eventuality of the LA Dodgers being in the World Series and then potentially winning the World Series. But it seems as if they're in a 3-2 lead over the Rays. Sorry, so I was thinking Tampa Bay Buccaneers because that's my favorite football team. But yeah, they won their last game 4-2, and we are now on to one win away from capturing the World Series and bringing it back to LA. I'm not certain how long ago when it was the last time they won.
I think they won 2 years ago or something like that. I remember them winning recently.
I didn't even give myself the opportunity to research that tonight, so forgive the baseball fans, but it's not one of my
forte.
Yeah, to me, I think baseball and cricket is the same concept.
Yeah, and I guess since we grew up in the Caribbean, we are more used to
cricket. But, kudos to the Dodgers and the Dodgers fans.
Yes.
NFL football. I'm getting to pay a little bit more of attention now that the season is beginning to proceed a bit more progressively. I do have someone whom I will bring on in one of the next programs. The person that was supposed to be here tonight, he's a lot more passionate and a lot more in depth about NFL matters, but I still think we can run through the results and at least touch on some of the major ones in your opinion. The first one would be the Philadelphia Eagles over the New York Giants, 22-21, close game. Giants, I think they lost OBJ due to an Achilles injury as well.
OBJ doesn't play for the Giants.
He doesn't? He used to though, right? He plays for who now?
Browns.
Oh, Cleveland Browns. Okay, well, I learned something new. Forgive me.
But for sure. Definitely Carson Wentz. I guess he's feeling a little bit pressured right now. You know, as I follow the Eagles, I do follow the NFL a little bit. So Carson Wentz, after Nick Foles' departure from winning the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
I remember Nick Foles, right? Mm-hmm.
And now it seems like Carson Wentz hasn't really been stepping up to the plate like he used to. So I really want to see Carson Wentz get some momentum. And this is a great win here for the Eagles. Maybe a playoff run.
in the making.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, let's see. Yeah, the same Cleveland Browns put a licking in the Bengals. But they lost OBJ. Don't know how that will affect their season now.
I mean, at the same time, they still have a good core, the Browns. I feel that they would still have a good chance at making the wild card spot, but it's going to be harder with OBJ out.
Yeah.
But they still have a couple
And then
of pieces.
in really making a mark without him, let's see. I mean, you ain't get there just because of him alone. The traditional Green Bay Packers 35-20 over the Houston Astros. No, not
Texans,
the Astros.
Texans.
Texans. Correct.
Yes, so with the Packers, it's not surprising. Aaron Rodgers' consistency throughout his whole
They
career.
lost last week to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes, but right now Tom Brady, no one
Yeah.
can stop Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a legend.
Yeah.
But the Packers have been doing really, really good this season. I feel that Aaron Rodgers has been leading the team as usual, so no surprise here. Surprising for the Texans though, with a terrible season so far. J.J. Watt hasn't really
Kicked on.
at all, so I don't think the Texans have a chance anymore to make the playoffs, but definitely something to look at for the Texans. But
Okay.
something.
Okay. The next Dallas team, Cowboys, take a proper trouncing
That's something for
from
Cowboys.
Washington.
That's something to look at, because the Washington team,
Yeah.
new team, not the best team. The Cowboys, I'm really surprised with this one. I definitely don't see this from the Cowboys, because the Cowboys are a good team.
Yeah.
But
All right. Let's see if they can rebound. It just seems like there's nothing going on in the
right
state
now,
of Texas right
last night, actually,
Uh-huh.
my Seahawks, ended their undefeated streak to the Cardinals in overtime. I was watching that game closely. Sadly, Russell Wilson couldn't go get his undefeated season that I really wanted for him.
now. Which one this is? The Seahawks
Versus the Cardinals last night. Went to overtime, 37-34.
Oh.
So it was heartbreaking for Seahawks fans like myself. But,
It's still a good showing.
still a good showing. So we are still 5-1, so I think we're definitely going to make the playoffs, but that's a step back.
Yeah, a little setback there. What you said you watched the game. What was the difference? Well,
No, we had the lead. We were up by, I think it was one touchdown. We had the ball like 3 minutes before the game was ending. I don't know what happened. Well, I think it was that we got fourth. I don't remember exactly. And then they got the ball and they scored back surprisingly. And then went to overtime. They won with a kick. And
okay, yeah, that's 3 points. Okay, seen. They probably advanced it further and was able to catch a.
It's unfortunate, but.
Yeah, it happens, but it's a good showing nonetheless. 23-22, Detroit over Atlanta. Nothing there to mention of note. New Orleans put in a cocktail in Carolina Panthers by a field goal, it seems, as well, too. They're still in the run-ins for playoff positioning. The Pittsburgh Steelers 27-24. Field goals separating these teams, yeah.
Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh Steelers doing great as well.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yep, that's my team. Tom Brady, with a proper offensive line to protect him, will eat any NFL team. All he needs is the support around him.
So question, you think Tom Brady is going to win the Super Bowl this year?
I think that he will be up and there in the reckon, and if he's not in the World Series, it's because there has to be some major injury issues that they have right now. Those guys are churning. Arians, new coach. To me, Antonio Brown now being signed on.
Oh, he got signed to the Buccaneers?
Yeah. Now, here's the problem for me.
Antonio Brown has went through so much controversy lately.
But the one game he played with Brady at the New England Patriots, I mean, he took 4 catches, touchdown, 56 yards. So, I mean, obviously, 2 of them, and the fact that Brady has constantly vouched for him means that there is something there. And like I noted with Brady, Randy Moss, a lot of these older players that used to be problematic, Brady tends to have a little sort of effect on them. Like they respect him and what he's able to do so much that they're able to calm down their antics in order to play with him and achieve great things. So, and here's the irony about this whole Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. The owners also own Manchester United.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
I dislike the way they're treating my club, my English Premier League club. But now they also own, because Brady is the player I tend to follow instead of following a team. I follow the player, as in Tom Brady. Now they own my favorite player. And he's actually doing something good with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And to me, with all of these new additions, it seems all of these things are happening at the expense of Manchester United. You know? So it's kind of an irony there, but I still support my boy Tom. Yeah, full enough respect. 25 point win over the LA Raiders. And a little last week tail of the Green Bay Packers, who are in their division. They're coming up against the New Orleans Saints, who are below them now.
Yeah, I think that's
next
a
week.
loss right there.
Right. Well, let's see how it goes next week. Next week is that game. The 49ers over the New England Patriots. Well,
not surprising there.
New England
Jimmy
Patriots
Garoppolo.
without Tom Brady is like talking about what?
Jimmy Garoppolo threw 2 interceptions.
And he was a former Patriots.
Yes, he was. Backup quarterback. Yes.
Interesting. Come back to beat them bad too. Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, no
over
surprise.
the Denver Broncos.
No surprise.
Yeah, no surprise there. LA Chargers over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Nothing much to say about that. You mentioned the Seattle game. Yeah, you lost by a field goal. So yeah, that speaks to the NFL. As I said, in over the next few weeks, we'll touch base with Will and see where his thoughts lie in terms of who he supports, whether it is the Chiefs or to at least who he supports to win the Super Bowl, whether they're going to retain or whether Tom Brady could be in the mix, that kind of thing. But yeah, so let's see how that goes. That wraps it up for NFL. Let's get a little bit more close. I want to get come so we'll end in local football, but I want to bring it closer and start from the furthest sport from us and then come in. So we could touch a bit of the Indian Premier League. I don't know if you've been following, but I have been very closely now because it's coming down toward the end. I think it's only like 2 or 3 more rounds to go. And it's beginning to kind of shape up in terms of the table.
Pretty close.
And what's going on. Yeah. So Mumbai Indians, Kieron Pollard, they suffered trouncing recently from the Rajasthan Royals. Joss Butler put their bowling attack to the sword and scored a century, 105. But they are still on top the standings with a net run rate of 1.252. They are leading the Delhi Capitals, who started very, very hot, but they've always been trailing the Mumbai Indians, but they look very good. I'm not certain of any major West Indian players who play with the Delhi Capitals.
It's really close right now. The 7th.
All of 3 of them on 14 points. It's net run rate separating them. And then the 4th place is 12 points. That's correct.
It's really close.
Royal Challengers Bangalore. That is... they're on 14 points. They are traditional powerhouses, but they're very inconsistent. That's who Chris Gayle used to play with. Virat Kohli, I believe, he plays with them. Virat Kohli, right?
Yes.
Right. So that's the Indian captain. You can't ever rule him out. You can't ever rule them out. And A.B. de Villiers, that's who I was trying to remember. He's also still at whatever age. I'm sure A.B. got
some decent age
on him, and he's still beating ball like beating letters straight in India. Then you have the Kings 11 Punjab, who just recently put KKR to the sword. In fact, that was the last game that played today, where the universe boss, who has seemingly regained form. He's being played at number 3, number 4 in the batting lineup. And he is putting these bowlers to the sword. So the Kings 11 Punjab was, up until the game 7, like the second to last team in the table. They now retain they're now in 4th place. Gayle having contributed to them being on a 5-win chart. Gayle and Nicholas Pooran. You understand? So if you get the 2 of them hitting form, if they can get the 2 of them and 2 of them alone hitting form at the right time, coming into do not rule Kings 11 Punjab out. Especially because I think Shami, he's bowling pretty well. So all they need is a consistent enough bowling attack. And I'm certain the universe boss can chase down more scores right now, especially if he has assistance in the earlier part.
It's going to be hard, though, definitely.
It's going to be hard.
Kolkata is also a good team. So
Kolkata Knight Riders, but that's who they just beat with Andre Russell. I don't think Andre is fit, right? So
depends.
Yes, it really is good to see how and Gail just put Sunil Narayan to the sword as well too.
Well, Sunil Narayan wasn't coming off an injury after the CP.
No, they had him for suspected boating action.
Okay.
So I think he had to go and do some corrective action. They kept him out to the side for a little bit, that kind of thing. I think Andrew Russell has been their biggest miss, though. But you know me and the Universe Boss. I'm a full supporter of the Universe Boss. So if he could win every competition he participates in, I'm a Rajasthan Royals. They are of no real consequence. Sunrisers Hyderabad, they have no real consequence at this stage. And our Dwayne Bravo, CSK, they are actually bottom of the table. But Bravo himself has suffered a groin injury, so he's out of the CPL altogether. But yeah, they're not. They're obviously in need of a refresher, and as such, they bring up the base of the table. So it's shaping up to be a close contest to see who will be the top four. You know, they usually have a different kind of playoff system, where number 1 and number 2 would play for a place in the final, and then you'll have a match between how does it go? Number 1 and number 2. And then number 3 and 4 would play, and the winner of that would play number 2 for us, and number 2 would get 2 opportunities, 2 bites at the cherry, literally. Okay. So anywhere between Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals, Royal Challengers Bangalore, Kings 11 Punjab, and Kolkata Knight Riders are all in the mix. Not to rule out the Rajasthan Royals, but having played a game more than some of the top teams above them, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them.
100%.
Right? Yeah. So are we ready to start on the English Premier League and what the weekend was like?
Yes. Well, I guess we could start out with that. First, I think it was on Friday, Leeds beat Aston Villa 3-0. After the 8-2 Liverpool, Aston Villa gave to Liverpool, I really don't feel that they've really shown much consistency after that.
2 things. 1, Liverpool plays a different system to Leeds, which in my mind plays into the style of play Aston Villa, because remember, with most of these big teams, the bottom of the table teams tend to play deep defensively and hit you on the counter. Liverpool plays high press, so they try to press teams high up the pitch, where if these teams are able to navigate on the break, then they can unpick Liverpool each and every single time. Mind you, I do think that was a particularly bad day for Liverpool as well. So let's not pretend like that's normal. At the same time, Leeds now are more accustomed to battling it against teams like Aston Villa, which would have been coming up from the second division, right? So that in terms of mentality, I just believe that in this particular match, Leeds was a bit more prepared. And do not rule out or take your eye off of
Marco Bielsa.
Marcelo. Put some respect on the man. Marcelo Bielsa. Okay? The man is a genius. I enjoy him.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that was Friday. Liverpool started Saturday morning with a quite weary 2-1 victory. I still think they're recovering from the loss of Van Dijk.
Yeah, I think Sheffield took the lead, actually. Yeah. And then they came back.
And they came back. And
simple.
But it was rather pedestrian.
Yes,
but
I feel like Saturday was a boring day for football.
Yes, it was.
It was really hard to watch.
Following that, the Manchester United versus Chelsea game was the most boring game of the weekend.
I couldn't watch that, man. Yeah. I was watching it, but then I was on my phone too. It was too much. I think Liverpool had a lot of the ball too, and when we hit them on the
Chelsea.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had a lot of the ball too. And then when it came down to us counter-attacking, it just came to where we couldn't finish. Like that Rashford chance early, we should have put that away. I think Rashford had a similar shot. Like the PSG game, I was hoping that Rashford would slot it back in the net. No. That Edison Cavani flick at the end there, I thought he would have a moment of brilliance right there. You know, the first touch right there, a little flick there. I said, Edison kind of promising, you know. But
no, I listened to the coach's rationale. I don't see why, and this is the only thing I would say about this game. Why would you not start Paul Pogba if you have a fit Paul Pogba in your team?
No, but you have to understand, Paul Pogba, when he was playing starting position for the whole season, he has not had a good performance for the whole season so far. And I think people need to realize that Paul Pogba is our best player, but if your best player is not performing up to par, you have to give him a break and put him on the bench. Because
that's being a bit biased because Maguire is still in the team.
Exactly.
No, but Maguire,
Uh-huh.
who else are you going to put except Twanzebe, who has performed, I admit that.
Uh-huh.
But you know that Maguire has had terrible performances. I want him off the team too. That's all his fault. But I feel that Maguire, he does put his all, but he's just a klutz, you know.
So let me.
He's our captain.
Let me stick this little piece in here then. What about the fact that Ole himself said that he should not have played Paul so regularly to start the season, given the fact that he was away on duty with France.
And he had COVID-19.
And he got COVID-19.
Exactly.
And then you stick him straight into the first team.
Exactly.
First game of the season.
Exactly.
No consideration. I personally think that was, again, another instance of Ole mismanaging the talent that he has at his disposal.
Why is Donny van de Beek on the bench? That's what I want to understand. Because Donny, I don't care if he plays the similar style of Bruno. Donny van de Beek was just recently bought for what, 40 million, and you're going to keep him on the bench, not give him proper game time?
Not to belabor the point, we should never have bought Donny van de Beek. Or at least if we bought him, we should have left him at Ajax for the season and then bring him over like we were doing with the other right winger from Italy.
But even if we do bring him over, is he going to get game time too?
But that's the problem. My problem with Manchester United is, in Paul Pogba, you have one of the best world-class attacking midfielders. But your transfers over the last 3-4 windows have been attacking midfielders. That makes absolutely no sense to me. When what you could have been doing is bringing in players to supplement Paul Pogba, to assist, and maybe one bench player to come on if he's unable to pull it.
To be fair to that point you just made, Paul Pogba has had recent injuries over the past 2 years.
Yes, so just bring in one person to fill the spot. Why
have brought in
clog
Bruno
the
Fernandes.
team? Exactly.
And who else have we brought in? And
Donny van de Beek.
Donny van de Beek. Yes, and I feel that
and the three of them cannot play together in a midfield.
We've tried.
Whilst
Pogba and
in the defensive midfield now, we have literally to have a proper defensive midfield, we have to play both Fred and McTominay together, which negates that the two cancels the fact that either Paul, Bruno, and Donny can actually play together.
I think we need to look at the fact that we have that same formation we played against PSG.
PSG.
Yes, Alex Telles played amazing. Why wasn't he on the bench?
Two games in a row so soon might be been too much for him.
But not even on the bench. No?
Again, here's my problem. PSG plays differently from Chelsea. Chelsea set up to defend because they were conceding too many goals, and what did Ole do? He just stuck with the plan and set up to defend. And we had the most boring game of the weekend.
Okay.
So without beleaguering the point,
yes.
But we'll obviously get back to more Ole blunders as time goes by. He got it great for PSG. He flopped as far as I'm concerned for Chelsea. Crystal Palace 2-1 over Fulham. Wilfried Zaha again.
Too easy.
Yeah. Man City being held by West Ham. There's 2 weeks in a row now West Ham hold a previous top 6 team. Tottenham, and last week 3-3, and now Man City.
Something to watch out for.
Yeah, we gotta keep an eye out for them Londoners.
Man City, looks like Liverpool looking like a easy.
Well, no, because the table isn't really saying that right now, but we'll discuss that as it goes along. Leicester put a 1-0 dagger in. Arsenal left it late. Jamie Vardy, 11 goals in 12 matches. These Arsenal fans, I can only imagine how they feel. Every time they see Vardy, they must run and cry. You know what I mean? A serious dagger to collect there.
Newcastle draw against Wolves.
Newcastle 1-1 versus Wolves. Yeah, that was
Everton loses their winning
Oh
streak.
yeah, that's their first loss of the season, right? Against Southampton.
That's really surprising to all that.
Well, no, because Richard Leeson,
It was suspended, didn't it?
yeah, because he caught a red card.
Was
So
it
it just shows that Ancelotti, as much as he could work some magic with a full team,
What did he do again? It was a keeper with,
I can't even remember.
no, it was Van Dijk. He kept him out for 8 months. He looks like
No, Pickford.
Was it Pickford?
Pickford was the one that he kept, that injured Van Dijk. But I do think that part of Richarlison's punishment came out for the fact that nothing was done to Pickford when Van Dijk was injured.
Okay.
But yeah, Ancelotti had to manage people on the bench as well too. You know what I mean? You can't depend on your first team as alone to pull you through the entire season.
Okay.
You know, so it's an early lesson for him.
So
And
draw against Brighton Hove Albion and West Bromwich Albion. Not much to say about that. I don't really.
yeah, West Brom. Remember that's our local player. Plays with West Brom. West Brom will probably be one of the teams in the relegation battle, but hey, you still had to support it.
And Tottenham beats Burnley.
Yeah, they left it. This was a
1-0.
difficult game for Tottenham at the Turf Moor. Yeah, so they finally got the 1-0, which meant that the table is beginning to take a bit more shape with the two London teams, London rivals, Everton and Liverpool. Everton, both of them on 13 points. Everton with a +5 goal difference. Liverpool with a +1. Aston Villa and Leicester brings up third and fourth. Aston Villa is a surprising inclusion inside there. They're on a +7 goal difference, and Leicester City on a +5 goal difference. In fifth and sixth, again, some more surprises. Tottenham Hotspur, 11 points. That just means they're 2 points off the top. They're not surprising. Leeds being on 10 points is surprising. This early in the season, remember they usually say the 40
They do have a
point.
game in hand against us, though. So right now we could get 10 points as well. We play Arsenal next. So right now it's a close table. Nothing really to...
Yeah, but all right, okay. I'm liking your optimism, I suppose. All right, yeah, I'll give you
Top
that.
4 is not far from our...
Yeah, we are okay. Very early in the season. I just don't like these results I see for us. But you're correct. It's too early in the season to be league opposition in the season, in the table. So the top 6, yeah, that's how it
think it's
goes. So
7.
we can take a little break, and then after the break, we, as I said, we have a special type discussion coming up. So we'll see if we can connect to whom we have to and get right back to you in a few minutes. So yeah.
Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikho
I want to encourage somebody today that the sun will shine again. I want to say to you that the sun will shine again.
Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, but go on with it.
Yo, is it? Are you kidding me?
To us, yeah. So we are coming here with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, we not rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks like we need it the most. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, my gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast for the friends we take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored then only set the road and we go on with the road. Third form, me say me try a thing, and you know it formed out to be a fire thing. Now up on stage with chronic, say I sing, yeah, see me all diggy soon, get the higher ring like hello, brother. Me say I just shot ya, saw your poster, spectacular photo. Keep it burning, yes, that's the motto. If me the butter pass through your shot, to can't ball in a life, man. Me have to thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast to the friends we take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored then only set the road and we go on with it, go on with it. Just show our blessings upon me and send me to tell them a story. Just show our blessings upon me, and that's how I made to give him the glory. I'm delighted. Jah knows say my passion ignited. Got the music get me excited. I'm coming like a potion. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast for the friends we take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored then only said the road and we go on with the road. Toast, yeah, yeah. Toast. Oh, we not rise and boast. Yeah, we give thanks. We have to give thanks like we really supposed to be thankful. Blessings all for my life and my thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah, and gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall by my right hand. But I toast for the friends we take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we bored then only said the road and we go on with the road. Toast, yeah, yeah. Toast.
All right, we are back on the bench meeting. Over recent weeks, me and my father has had much of a friendly debate, I would say, about who is the GOAT of basketball itself, Michael Jordan or LeBron James, or maybe even Kobe if you want to bring him in. Good point. But we have a lot more to talk about that. So we have two guests here. We have two of my uncles. We have Uncle Alan on the Michael Jordan side, and we have Uncle Cutie on the LeBron side. So we'll have 2 minutes each to have a little debate about who and why this person is the GOAT. So I guess if you want to kick us off, or do you want me to start?
Being the senior statesman here, I would like to first have my say on this matter. I do not even think that there should be a debate. But because we had the bubble ring, and everybody really wants to crown the king, we now have an incessant cry of respect. The king needs his respect.
Yes, he needs his respect. Magic Johnson said so himself.
And I don't mind offering the king some respect.
Yes.
But the type of respect the king is demanding, I think he's still somewhere off from earning.
Oh, gosh.
I haven't been thankfully alive to be
here for this debate.
no, for seeing both to have seen both of them play in their prime, I honestly believe that there is that extra something that Michael Jordan displayed during his time as a basketball star that I am yet to see coming out of LeBron James, in the sense that I'm yet to see him with that level of determination against all odds.
Come on.
Against powerful opposition.
What?
And
Come
to win something, as opposed to teaming up.
Everybody knows.
All right. So that's just my take. I get my 2 minutes, you get your 2 minutes, and then we'll give who you want to go first.
It doesn't
Seeing
matter.
that I went first, I'll let Cuthbert Sebastian Jr., who's going to be on one line, and Alan Bobb, who's going to be on another, folks. So we'll go in that form. So you go, and then your Cuthbert will go, and then I'll let Alan in on the conversation.
All right. So, no, you just said, and I quote, LeBron has never been what? LeBron has never been against the odds in the finals. No. Let me see how that's up. So wrong. Because if you watch the 2017 NBA Finals, you would actually see the odds that was without Kyrie, without Kevin Love, against a splash spreader team in their prime. They're shooting lights out. They went 72. They lost 7 games? They were in their prime. The odds were against them. They barely lost any games that season. Right. LeBron didn't have any stars, like you say. LeBron always needs a star to help him out. Right. What did LeBron do? Prove everybody wrong, won a championship, and no one could ever give LeBron his kudos for that championship. Number 2, he came back to Cleveland, the same city he didn't win for 7 years, and brought a championship. I think it was the first. I don't know if it was the first, but I think it was the first championship.
If it wasn't the first, it was very near there. Okay.
He comes into a Lakers team. Right. He loses the first year. And then he wins a championship, recruits Anthony Davis from the Pelicans.
Now you're talking.
And he wins a championship.
So he's a recruiter.
He's Le GOAT, Le GM, Le King, Le Best of all time. LeBron James.
And Le Recruiter as well.
Yes, Le Recruiter, if you want to call him that. That's how times are nowadays. And you can say whatever you want about LeBron. He has proven to you time and time again, every time you beat him down, he always comes down with a championship. Regardless of any team you put LeBron on, he will come with any championship. Any team LeBron has been on, he has won a championship. When Michael Jordan went back to Charlotte, what happened? He didn't even sniff the playoffs, man.
He had no quality man pass. He prayed.
It doesn't matter. He came back and he lost. And you admit yourself before that.
That what?
That was a stain on his career.
What? When
he went to Charlotte.
I didn't know about all of that. And when did I admit this?
He went to baseball because he didn't like basketball anymore.
No, that was long before he went to Charlotte, son. He went
to baseball when he went for his father.
Took a break,
yes.
And then he came back and won 3 championships again on the trot with the same team.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
All right.
Congratulations to Michael Jordan for that.
Are you there? Are you listening?
I'm listening.
All right. Let me. Your nephew needs some help here. So render your assistance where you can.
Well, I'm on his side. I think LeBron James doesn't garner the proper respect that he deserves.
The
feat that this man has performed that has not been seen ever, even in Michael Jordan's era. Even in, and I'll list a few points as to why. He has gone to several different teams and has won a championship there. No one has done that. No man has done that as the star player in 3 different teams and has won there. That means he is the main reason that they're winning. He is the main reason. He has basically built up these franchises and put them in a position to win every time he's on the court. And he's at how old is he now? He's at 35 years old, 17 seasons in his career, and he's won a championship again while playing at superstar level, greatest of all time level type of basketball. He just led the league in assists just this season, in his 17th year. This man is amazing. This man is amazing. And guess what? They weren't the prohibited favorites this season.
Exactly.
They were not. Every Michael Jordan team was a favorite by the odds maker. I have the stats right here, actually. I have the betting odds stats. First year Michael Jordan won. The Bulls were the prohibited favorites to win the championship going into the playoffs.
Facts.
Not even when they reached the finals. Going into the playoffs, they were the favorites.
Facts.
According to the odds makers. LeBron James has never, twice,
Oh,
3 times they have ever been the favorites
Okay.
to win a championship.
all right. Let me.
73-9 Warriors team.
Facts.
The greatest regular season record. He overcame that 3-1. Never been done in the finals.
Were there any injuries on the on Golden State?
No.
No.
Okay.
Healthy
No.
Golden City.
All
The
right.
healthy Golden City.
Let me allow Alan now to come in with an alternative perspective here now. Stick around, Cutie. We'll offer you an opportunity to rebut. Alan,
Okay, no problem.
are you hearing the comments from the other side?
The rookies, of course, yes. Good night, everyone. Cutie, it's good to hear you again, man. So, there's a particular fact I would like to acknowledge before I go into the debate. Wherein there's always going to be this, because it happens in football too, where people who acknowledge Cristiano and Messi as greats, but know nothing about fellas like, even if they hear about Pele and them, they wouldn't know about Garrincha and Testao and George Best and that. So I'm just going to go in it. They have seen LeBron James play.
Okay.
That is what they know. However, there's a couple of pointers I would like to and that is what I think separates Jordan and in extension Kobe from LeBron James. The fact that these guys, even though, because I heard him mention Golden State, but Steph Curry, for all his rings and the Splash Brothers for all their rings, has never won a playoff MVP. Stranger. Because they always speak, I heard QT the other night speak about how great this team was, but they gave Andre Iguodala and then, Kevin Durant, obviously, with his scoring ability, took the other 2 MVPs. What I'm going to say is, LeBron James is, because I heard him mention something about respect. Now, he has my respect as the greatest player in the NBA for the past decade and more. And what I acknowledge that the NBA does is they push that greatness too. They acknowledge the greatness and they push it because it sells. But when you look at the impact Michael Jordan had on the game of basketball, the impact Kobe Bryant had on the game of basketball, and you talk about going into the finals as favorite. Hell yeah, they would be favorite. The greatest player in the thing, you ought to be wary. Well, of course, you ought to be. And there's nobody who would see LeBron James on any team and say, listen, that team there is the underdog. So that talk, I'm gonna throw that out the window one time. That is foolishness. What I will tell you is that killer instinct, that ability to put away, when you reach on that final stage and you're in front of the lights and you're in front and in their peripheral, they're seeing that NBA championship. There's no way. No, you're gonna have to play 100%, 150% to get that game, that title out of those guys' grasp.
As in Kobe Bryant and
LeBron James had the chance to tripete with Miami. Why didn't he? Why did you tripete? Let's see now if he could get. Now he's a great player, but he just is not going to reach Michael the GOAT status for me until you establish complete dominance on an NBA area, which you have never done. You've never done to me. there's always been a player or a team to overshadow you. So how could you claim? And the fact that he even in his early primes, he was saying, "I'm the greatest of all time." I mean, that arrogance is plain to see.
All right, Alan.
So,
let me allow Cutie to rebut here on the other line. Cutie, did you hear some of those comments? Jaden was having near a fit here in the studio.
Yeah,
So have you been following?
I heard it, and it's nothing that I never expected him to say. But for you to say you haven't seen dominance in the NBA Finals by LeBron James, you're sadly mistaken. I admit there's one NBA Finals where this man did not dominate. That was the Dallas Mavericks Finals, and that was the year before he won his first. He hasn't had that taste of winning, but ever since he had that taste of winning, LeBron James has been the best player in every NBA Finals, statistically and by the eye test.
So how come he win the? How come he has such a poor?
The first loss to Golden State. Guess who was injured? Kevin Love was injured before they make it to the finals, and then Kyrie was injured in the first game of that playoffs. And that's when they lost, what, 4-2? Imagine if you had your other two superstars there, your other two role players, your other two most important players there. They would have won. That would have been another championship in LeBron James.
So in other words, his record is blemished because he didn't have no superstar support.
He didn't have that second and third option. His option there was Villanueva.
Wait, we can't bring that in though, because
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
we can't bring that in. You can't make that argument. Without Michael Jordan would never ever win a ring without Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. I would say that with confidence.
No,
Scott,
hold on.
Michael
Dennis
Jordan
Rodman only won 3 rings with
Michael
Scott.
Jordan never
he
won
will not
a
win the
ring
other
with
3
Scottie.
rings.
Horace Grant was who won.
Jaden, I would like you to be very careful on your statements because you only know Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen by hearing about them. So I'm glad that you made that statement, but I do not think you've seen that scoring machine play enough to make that statement because they're greats who refuted that. They acknowledged that this man was going to win, was going to control basketball.
That's true.
They acknowledge, and I don't think anybody can admit to having a control on basketball when they're reaching in the finals and I didn't have enough players, so I didn't win the ring this year, and my performance wasn't well, I didn't win it this year. Come on.
Listen.
That's what I'm saying. When you reach there, the GOAT takes it.
Michael Jordan has never had those type of problems ever in the finals. Ever. He has literally had a healthy career. He has had his star players with him all times. He has never faced that type of adversity once he got on the ball. LeBron James has faced that adversity, fell down, came back up to that level again. That shows something. That shows greatness to me. When you face adversity and you bounce back. And that's what LeBron has showed.
I feel that.
You can't deny that.
But
some losses and you bounce back. You found yourself as a great player again. That shows that he's a great player.
Well, he is.
No. Because those were circumstances beyond his control. And he still came back.
Okay. But there's a particular stat that Jalen Rose was bringing up on the take. I don't know if you guys looked at it, where he said there were 4 people to win. It was in the same season. So they won the MVP, the scoring title, defensive player of the year.
Yeah, I heard it.
Did you see that stat, Kitty?
Yeah, he said he saw it.
That's right.
So what if
that particular one there? No, again, I'm reiterating that LeBron James is a great player. I just think it's very presumptuous to even think. I'm having this discussion all for talk, but I would never, ever, and I know you, QT, would never put him in Michael Jordan. I think our debate is really if he's above Kobe, you know. You self, QT, will never put him above Jordan, you know. You know that.
There's 2 more titles and I
don't
will.
think any player in the mind or person who knows basketball and see what this guy dominance on basketball would ever put him in the same bracket as Michael
Wait,
Jordan.
I have a question. I have a question.
Wait, Alan. In terms of desire and drive, Jordan wins. In terms of pure talent, LeBron wins.
Oh, jeez, oh no. Cutie, that's blasphemy, Cutie.
Cutie, behave, man.
That's blasphemy, man. How you can do that to us, Cutie?
Michael Jordan cannot pass the ball the way LeBron James can do. He can't orchestrate the offense.
Okay, I agree with that.
The way LeBron James can do.
Cutie.
He can't run an offense the way LeBron James can do. And plus, he is a more... he's a
Oh,
physical
jeez,
specialist.
Cutie, no, Cutie.
We've seen some great blocks in the playoffs by LeBron and thing where he run down, he chase down, but do you think there's anybody who would ever claim that LeBron James is a complete all-round player as in terms of defense, offense, everything?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
So, Alan, quick question before you.
I'll tell you what. He fell off a couple of years. For like 2-3 years, he just didn't play any defense.
Greatness.
During his Miami stint, where Pat Riley, the Heat's whole mantra.
So why are you making excuses? Why are you making excuses for him in terms of his defense? We're finding different areas that you're making excuses for. So he had no players, he had no backup, he had no support. Now we're talking about the 2-3 years where he didn't play any defense. You realize that you're always fighting, but I am not acknowledging. You young guys, because you got the opportunity to see a great player play. Which is very blessed because I have full respect for LeBron, but just not the good.
Okay, so let me well, we're gonna have to close up shortly because time is almost up on us. But
okay.
Let me bring a little bit more context. I would give him this. Statistically, by the time LeBron James retires, he would have probably surpassed every statistical record that is present currently in the NBA, right? In terms of being an athlete, he's a machine. There is no other athlete I see in any sport that could last as long and be as dominant as physical species as LeBron James is. And he obviously has some great degree of talent as well too. In terms of overall impact on the game of basketball though, I think that he's still a little ways off from the greats, such as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Like I argued with one or two persons, you give me a Michael Jordan, you could actually have 3 or 4 plays that Michael Jordan would have created that would have impacted, signature plays, whether it's dunking, whether it's adjusting. LeBron has everything, and he will always have everything.
Complaining to the referee.
I would give him as an athlete everything. But I'll close off this and say this is a debate, folks, that on the air and otherwise that we have been having over the past few weeks, as Jaden had mentioned. So I am certain that this is not the end of the debate. It is actually quite exciting to hear both of them go at it almost in first take. And we'll probably have to do this again at some point in time in the future, Jaden, because I'm certain there's a lot more.
I enjoy talking with QT, man. It's always good to teach these young boys, man. QT, much love, bro.
Listen, I understand the greatness of Michael Jordan. There's no denying that, but I think it's 2 different eras. I think Michael Jordan didn't play the same type of people. I think the league changes so fast in this era that you have to literally adjust to who you're playing. It's not the same team you're playing year in and year out. There's so many pieces moving in this league now, so you have to adjust. Get better. And I find LeBron adjusts perfectly in this era compared to what other people would have to go through back then in that era.
Well,
So
well
I'm
let's
looking at all of that.
let's leave some room for debate on that part in terms of the opposition that each of these legends would, and LeBron being a future legend, each of these legends would have faced, because I'm definitely curious to find out your individual opinions as to the opposition that each of these guys would have faced when they won or lost their titles or championship rings the following season. So thanks a lot for being on here with us, guys. And we want to quickly close up by thanking all of our listeners tonight. We hope that you had as much fun as we did. And we are certain to try and do this again, maybe Zoom or something, Jay.
Yes,
thanks
sir.
for joining me tonight. And without further ado, thanks for being with us on the bench. And we look forward to seeing